Do you remember when we were engaged and we would often talk about what things will be like in the future? And I would say to you, will you still love me when I am old and maybe a little wrinkled?
Mm-hmm.
Will you still love me if one day I get sick and you have to take care of me?
Mm-hmm.
Will you still love me even if things aren't as great as they are at the moment?
Mm-hmm. I
Remember
remember.
that?
Yeah, we've often had those conversations where we ask ourselves, even if this would happen, would we stay married? Or even if this happens, would we still honor our marriage vows? And over the years, we've had that conversation many times. But really, from the very beginning, we said no matter what happens, no matter what happens to us, no matter what the situation is, we're going to honor the vows and we're going to remain committed to each other. Habakkuk has a similar conversation with God. At the end of Habakkuk in chapter 3, after a back and forth dialogue with God, what Habakkuk says in verse 17, he says, even if the fig tree does not bud, even if there's no grapes on the vines, even if the olive crop fails. And then I love it because he takes it one step further, not just his crops, but then he says, even if there are no sheep in the pen, or even if there's no cattle in the stalls, he said, I will still rejoice in the Lord. I will still be thankful, or I will still be joyful in God, my Savior. Behind me is our first attempt at gardening. These are tomato plants, and to prepare, really it only took a day. We dug everything out, and nowadays we have it pretty easy because we just have to go to the local store and they have the soil already prepped for you. But in the days of Habakkuk, it wasn't as easy. As a matter of fact, it would take between 3 to 5 years for Habakkuk to actually see his crops, produce fruit. And so I can imagine Habakkuk or the farmers in that time putting all that time and energy, week after week, year after year, right? And on the 5th year, they go to harvest and there's nothing. I mean, I would say how detrimental would that be, not only to their livelihood, but also to their legacy. I mean, it would ruin them. And so what Habakkuk is doing is he's saying to them, he's saying to God, even if worst case scenario, he says, I will still rejoice and I will still be joyful in God, my Savior. And I want to ask the question to those of you that are viewing this. What is your even if? Is there an even if? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that sometimes we think that life with Jesus is going to be just smooth and easy. And we have to realize that just like marriage, it's not always smooth and easy. And so we have to have those, yes, even if things don't go the way that I planned. Yes, even if something tragic happens. Yes, even if God doesn't answer me the way that I want him to, I'm still going to trust him, and I'm still going to rejoice in him and trust that what he is doing is good and is his perfect will for my life.
Well, thank you for taking the time to make this video, and I hope all of you are encouraged, and I hope all of you just think about your even ifs, and I don't know, just take some time in prayer and really process that with God. So until next time, take care and God bless.